for today, Wednesday, August 3rd, 2016.
Commissioner Davis, Rodriguez, James, repenting and assent are present. President James, we do have a quorum. May we start with Bureau introductions, please, starting with Bureau of Sanitation.
Veretta Everhard, LA Sanitation.
Good morning, Edmund Yu, Bureau of Engineering.
Good morning, Kimberly Fitzpatrick, Bureau of Contract Administration.
Good morning, Ruben Flamenco, Bureau of Street Lighting.
Good morning, Lance Oishi with the Bureau of Street Services.
Good morning, Ted Jordan, Public Works General Counsel.
Fernando Campos, Executive Officer. President James, we do not have any speaker cards under general public comment and no commentary under the neighborhood councils. We do have a speaker card on item number 11 and 12.
Okay, then we'll close general public comment and we'll close the neighborhood council section of commentary. Some administrative items that we will take care of before we get going. Agenda item number 17, Underground Builders Incorporated doing business as underground manholes, transmitting a stop notice in the amount of $18,311.64 in connection with the secondary sewer renewal program project at Colorado Boulevard and Townsend Avenue, contractors Ramona Incorporated. Is there a second to my motion that we receive agenda item 17 forthwith? By Commissioner Rodriguez. Any objection? Without objection, we will do so. We also have some assessment hearings to calendar. These are agenda items 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 in various council districts, including CD 13, 7, 14, 6, 1, and 2. And the council hearing date is August 10th, 2016. Items 2 through 10, Mr. Flamenco.
Ruben Flamenco, Bureau of Street Lighting. Items 2 to 8 pertain to lighting districts which we are creating in conjunction with private development projects. Item 9 pertains to a lighting district which we are creating in conjunction with a Safe Routes to School project. Item 10 pertains to a lighting district which we are creating in conjunction with the Bureau of Street Lighting initiated LED conversion project. Ballots for items 2 to 10 were mailed on June 23, 2016. Ballots for items 2 to 10 must be received by the City Clerk's office by next Wednesday, August 10th. We have not received any objections to date on items 2 to 10. We are requesting for the board to adopt and forward items 2 to 10 forthwith to City Council.
Any questions regarding items 2 through 10? Is there a motion on items 2 through 10 by Commissioner Rodriguez? I'll second. Any objection? Without objection, we will adopt agenda item 2 through 10. Any issues in sending 2 through 10 forthwith? Okay, we'll send 2 through 10 forthwith. Agenda item number 1, the opening of the bids. We have one bid project, and then afterwards we have a presentation. Bids for the secondary sewer renewal program S13, Vernon Avenue and Budlong Avenue. Mr. Campos.
Thank you, Mr. President. Fernando Campos, Executive Officer. The bids to be received today, August 3rd, is for the secondary sewer renewal program, S13, Vernon Avenue and Budlong Avenue. This is in Council District 8 and 9. The city has estimated this project to be at $1,012,166. The first bid received for this project is from Vasilch Incorporated for a total bid amount of $1,214,800 even. That's 1214800 from Vasilch Incorporated. The second bid received for this project is from MNR Construction Incorporated for a total bid amount of $1,002,724. That's 1002724 from MNR Construction Incorporated. For the record, line item number 7 has been lined out and initialed by the contractor. The third bid received for this project is from Ramona Incorporated for a total bid amount of $1,024,351.50. That is 1024351.50 from Ramona Incorporated. The fourth and final bid for this project is from Kolich and Sons LP for a total bid amount of $1,106,875 even. That's 1106875 from Kolich and Sons LP. President James, that concludes the bid openings.
Thank you, Mr. Campos. Is there a second to my motion that we receive the bids forthwith by Commissioner Rodriguez? Any objection? Without objection, we will do so. Thank you, everyone. Is there a second to my motion that we approve the meeting minutes from the meeting of Friday, July 15th, 2016 by Commissioner Rodriguez? Any objection? Without objection, we will do so. I have a presentation, so give me one moment. Well, colleagues, it is on rare occasion that I get the opportunity to get up and walk around here and address all of you. I am doing so today because I was given word by my colleague and long time, meaning the entire time that we've been on the board, Vice President of our board, Monica Rodriguez, who has informed me and thus all of us, that today is her last board meeting. Monica has been sitting next to me for the full, and we're right about starting our fourth year, so 3 full years as the Vice President, sitting to my right. Sometimes I might joke, voting to my right. On occasion on some fiscal issues. Some people might argue otherwise, but I do want to say, Commissioner Rodriguez, that it has been a true pleasure working with you. We also, not everybody necessarily knows this, but we share an office suite. So there's access in between our offices. And I will remember the very first day that we worked together, Monica came in with a cartoon that I still have, that I know she knows exactly what I'm talking about, that references the one member of the board that might be voting no on an item in their very expressive way of voting no on that item, with her statement that she looked forward to working with me. So there are times that as with any board, that you agree on issues and disagree on some. And at least we never quite got to that level of expression when we differed on a position. What I will say, whether Monica or I agreed, and we agreed on most things. We certainly agreed on the items that Commissioner Rodriguez has been most passionate about. But whether we agreed or disagreed, it has always been a professional relationship and a learning experience for me. Monica has years of experience in City Hall that she brought to the Board of Public Works, and that was very instructional for me and beneficial for me as I began my early years on this board in City Hall. The items that Monica was most passionate about are no secret to anyone in the room, because she wouldn't let it be a secret on any of the items that she was passionate about, including, and I would first start with Monica's passion for small businesses and for women-owned businesses and minority-owned businesses, the MBEs and the WBEs. Now, I would admit that Monica has a partner in that, sitting to her right in Commissioner Davis. So sometimes it feels like it's the 1-2 punch for folks that that don't have their MBE or WBE numbers in order, and the goal that they would like to get to with our procurement process. Because of that, one of the things that Monica has been passionate about working on the Board of Public Works is working with the Bureau of Contract Administration, Commissioner Davis, our board, and leading through an update and upgrade of our Business Assistant Virtual Network, our BAVN system, which will have, as we're now into August, will have a lasting effect in improving the procurement process for the city going forward. Something else that it's no secret that Monica was passionate about, Keep Los Angeles Beautiful, and the Keep America Beautiful umbrella, really, of KLAB, and what that's meant for our neighborhoods and for neighborhood cleanups and for community beautification, which takes me to the Office of Community Beautification. Monica was, and this is not something that was necessarily public, she's very public about her support of OCB. OCB, our Office of Community Beautification, is a very popular program, if you will, within the city. Thus it is with the mayor, and thus it is with the city council. But even some small things that aren't necessarily going to get to the surface. When Monica had an opportunity to solve a problem for OCB, she did so, and sometimes it was something that could be solved simply by picking up the phone and calling me. And not to get into the details, but just to put on the table so she knows exactly what I'm talking about and what I remember, there was some issues as a new administration moves in. There are always issues about office space and who's going to go where and who can, who it makes sense to be officing next to and with. And there were some of those growing issues. I won't say growing pains because they're issues. And one of them had the potential to affect OCB in a way that was concerning potentially their ability to work as part of our board. Monica saw an opportunity that was a 10-minute fix. It was one phone call, well, two phone calls, one to me, and then I had to call somebody in the front office to ensure that OCB was able to continue working in close proximity to the Board of Public Works. Small gesture, big result. And the other thing that I think I've covered everything that the contract procurement, KLAB, and Weeby. And the other thing that I want to mention, I know others are going to talk, and I'm not going to stand up here all day. But the other thing that Monica was passionate about was working with, and I want to focus for a minute on women-owned businesses. When the small business enterprise, or rather the Small Business Academy, I should say, through the Bureau of Contract Administration was growing as it emerged from what had been an earlier birthplace, maybe at DWP in conjunction with BCA. Monica saw that the women-owned businesses were not satisfactory to her, and she worked with the Bureau of Contract Administration to get those numbers up. And we saw the results of those efforts when they came to our board and made presentations on the results of the work that they had done with the Small Business Administration. And I remember that day for Commissioner Rodriguez and certainly for the Bureau, Commissioner Repenning, how that must have felt to see the results of those efforts. And it reminds me something that I feel every day when we're able to do something that makes a difference. I mentioned on Friday that this was the favorite job that I've ever had, and I've been lucky enough to have interesting careers. That's really why. Commissioner Rodriguez, because starting Monday, perhaps, I'm going to call you Monica more in a professional setting. Thank you for your partnership. Thank you for the work for the city. Thank you for the work you've done on the Board of Public Works. And being the president, I will take the privilege to read what's on the certificate. I'll present it to you after our colleagues have spoken, but I want to be the one to read it since I'm the president. Certificate of Recognition, the Board of Public Works honors Monica Rodriguez for your commitment to serve the residents of Los Angeles as Vice President of the Board, for your unwavering dedication and passion to improve the infrastructure of this great city, and for delivering on such priority projects as Keep Los Angeles Beautiful, street lighting technology, and contracting and procurement for small businesses throughout Southern California. My only disappointment in reading that is that the street lighting technology slipped my mind as I was standing up here. But I think that that's going to be okay, because I know that the general manager of our Bureau of Street Lighting would like to talk, and so I'm going to call Ed Ibrahimian up. The reason I'm going to call Ed up before I go to our colleagues is because on the the Board of Public Works, each of us, the 5 of us, has a liaison bureau. And Commissioner Rodriguez's liaison bureau is the Bureau of Street Lighting. So she works with them on a daily basis, more so perhaps than other bureaus, as each of us do. And so I know that Ed and some of his team wanted to be here. So I'll let Ed talk about Commissioner Rodriguez's championing of the street lighting technology that have some great gadgets around the city that people are still tweeting me about the fact that they enjoy having the opportunity to use. So, Ed?
Thank you, Commissioner James. Good morning, commissioners, bureau reps, Mr. City Attorney, board officer. Thank you for having us here. I found out about this maybe an hour ago with a text from Commissioner Rodriguez.
That was not my fault.
Yes. And we had 2 meetings today scheduled with all of us in those meetings. But you know, we have so many meetings. We canceled those meetings. I wanted to make sure I am here today, as Commissioner James mentioned. By the way, let me also introduce Norma Isahakian, my assistant director, and also my newly appointed assistant director, Megan Hackney, here. So I wanted to make sure they are here with me also to represent the Bureau. So we wanted to make sure we are here. As Commissioner James mentioned, 3 years ago, you came on board, Commissioner Rodriguez, and from the first day, you were assigned as a liaison for Bureau of Street Lighting. We hit the road running, and we have not stopped. And I think this momentum is going to continue whether you're here or not, but I think you played a huge role in this whole transformation of street lighting in the whole world. With your leadership, with your friendship, with your support, everything that we've accomplished in the Bureau of Street Lighting, you played a big role in. So I am here on behalf of all the Bureau of Street Lighting employees, on behalf of Norma, Megan, and also Ruben, who's here, and everyone else, to say it's been a pleasure working with you. I've been around for a long time, 20 years. I've seen a lot of commissioners. I would like to say it here, I consider you one of the best we've ever had in this board. Not sure what you're planning to do in the future, but I tell you this, what you've done here has been tremendous for our Bureau and for the Department of Public Works. So if you have a second, I want to say thank you, wish you the best of luck, and we want to present to you with a flower bouquet, please.
While I've got Rodriguez. I would like to go ahead and present the certificate to you. I know that our colleagues want to speak, and I don't know if you want to speak from here or from there, but I'm going to give you that choice. Okay? But I do want to make the presentation while we've got those there.
Okay, we're good.
Congratulations. John Reamer from the Bureau of Contract Administration.
I have to jump at this opportunity. My goodness. I had a meeting this morning, and I'm with Ed. I knew nothing about this. No one's fault. But how God works things out, I wanted to come down because Kimberly shared with me that there was going to be something that was on the agenda today. And I'm sitting there and I find out this is your last day. There's a lot being said today, and to the board, the commissioners, and the family of Public Works about it takes a village. And it does. It does take a village. And the member of our family, Commissioner Monica Rodriguez, she has pushed tremendously and passionately on behalf of those businesses that don't typically have a voice. And President James alluded to it in a very eloquent way with respect to this small business academy that we have. It has come a long way, and it has because of this board's support and this young lady here, her passion, her push. There are people in your life that you will not forget, even though they're not there. And trust me, Small Business Academy, we will remember Monica Rodriguez. We will not forget the push to make sure that those who feel as though they don't have a place are made to realize and be very well aware of the fact that they do have a place. And so for that, in addition to Bhavin, the Bureau, we thank you for all that you did. Now on a personal note, the reason I really had to get up here is that yours has been a practice of always letting people know that they are remembered and they're cared for. And there was a year in my family's life. My wife's mother passed, my mother passed, and I got this personal handwritten note. Just the words of encouragement to let me know that there were people there that understood and were supporting. And so I thank you from the bottom of my heart for just letting us all know that we're in this together. It's not 5 different bureaus. We're pictured that way, but this department is a family. And you have helped us remember that. So I thank you. I do thank you. I pray the best for you. I have no doubt that the passion that you had here will carry you where you're going, and wherever that might be, and you will do fantastically well, and you will continue to bless and touch lives. So thank you. Thank you so much for just helping me be better, helping us be better, and adding a spice of life to this department. Appreciate it greatly.
Thank you, John. Commissioner Jacinto.
Thank you, President James. Ed, Norma, Megan, Director Reamer as well. I rise with this bittersweet moment in terms of the analogy of a village. We're transitioning our woman warrior, our priestess, our fierce advocate for what is right, what is righteous. And I have to just go back as a newest commissioner, and I appreciate the ability to go to thank our colleague, our vice president, our friend, Monica, for her authenticity, for being such a welcoming spirit to me a year ago, and the care and the want to help educate and share with me a perspective and a framework that would help us in our work. That is a sign of a true colleague, someone who truly cares about our fiduciary responsibility, of why we're here, the appointments. Above anything else, that is so appreciated, Monica. So on this day, it is bittersweet. There's a lot of duality here that we lose you to transition you to something bigger, greater, and better. Have no doubt that as you progress, you will continue to serve, you will continue to lead, continue to be the voice of fierce advocacy without any regard for any unapologetic niceties. Is what you see is what you get. And that is your strength, that is you, that is your voice. And I applaud that in you. And I know that that sentiment comes from your family, comes from your father, comes from your mother, comes from your ancestors. And when we could live our lives in honor of them and what they did, we are very, very strong. And thus, Commissioner Rodriguez, you have had a very strong and illustrious tenure on this commission, on this Board of Public Works. And we are all going to be witness to the great things that you are going to do just around the bend. We're with you. We wish you the best. I will greet you in our Filipino greeting of mabuhay. May you live and thrive and give love as you always have. Mabuhay, Monica Rodriguez.
Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you, Commissioner Jacinto. Commissioner Repenning?
Sure. I just want to express my congratulations to you for your years of service with this board and for the city. I think the mayor has been very lucky to have you representing him here on the Board of Public Works. I know as well your work with the City Council has been excellent. And so, you know, on behalf of all the work that you've done, all the folks that you've helped along the way, I just really want to congratulate you and wish you all the best. We will definitely miss you.
Thank you, Commissioner Repenning. Commissioner Davis?
Well, thank you. It's certainly been a thrill and honor to, first of all, meet Monica. We met at Councilman Gil Cedillo's swearing-in ceremony, quite actually. And I learned that she would be working on the Board of Public Works. We were very fortunate both to be appointed by Mayor Eric Garcetti to this board, having some input in terms of improving the management of the infrastructure of the city of Los Angeles. And I knew then that having talked to Monica, she would bring to the board her vast experience in City Hall, which certainly was going to be needed in terms of some kind of continuity of what's going on in the building and with the various city departments. And in a chance to work with her, I found out that she was very passionate about the Office of Community Beautification. This is an office that has work throughout the city and is certainly the favorite of each of our council members as well. And I have enjoyed understanding the value of community beautification and what they do not only for the city family, but for some of our nonprofits as well, who really treasure and value cleaning up our city and making it the biggest, best, beautiful city in America. And I think that Monica's work on the Rain Barrel program speaks to her commitment as an environmentalist who also sat here. She also worked on the Small Business Academy with women, and of course, I share the value with her of inclusion, of business inclusion, small, emergent, and women inclusion. And she has been uncompromising, unbought and unbossed, as Shirley Chisholm would say, in her commitment to making sure that people are included in. And I, again, am equally as passionate about that. And together, I think we have made some great accomplishments to look back on with pride and with honor. And as they say, if you do it right the first time, you don't have to go back and do it again. And Monica, I want you to know you did it right the first time. So I thank you for your fight. I think that residents in our community will feel good when they come and see how you have been persistent to know that inclusion is the right thing. Organizational change is not easy. People are not going to roll over and welcome someone else coming in to a system that has already been established. But I think you have made the mayor proud, and you certainly have made the residents of Los Angeles proud. And I look forward, hopefully, to working with you again in City Hall in your vast experience. So thank you so much, and I've enjoyed every single day of it. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis. And Mr. Campos?
Commissioner, one word, leader. You are a natural-born leader. I echo my colleagues here. Thank you for your service to the City of Los Angeles. You will be missed. However, I think that the future looks bright for you. Thank you for being grounded. Thank you for being ethical. Thank you for being accountable and helping us be more responsible to the City of Los Angeles and our residents and our visitors and all the citizens that live in the City of LA. Because of you, it is a better place. You've also helped us uniform and bring together this great Department of Public Works. One of the things that I looked forward to when I joined the Department of Public Works about a year and a half ago is all the exciting new things that were coming down the pipeline. I'm one of those individuals that likes challenges, and I knew this was the place to be. In the next 3 to 5 years, the Department of Public Works was going to be the City of Los Angeles. We are one of the leading departments across that. And so you bring not only your dedication to public service delivery, but you also are a great coach, a great mentor. Your dedication to training, education, raising awareness to the community about how things are done with the City of Los Angeles and bringing in new businesses and new business to the City of Los Angeles is definitely your footprint that you leave behind with the Department of Public Works. I won't go through all the details of all the accomplishments that you've made, but truly know that you've made an impact not only on me, but also the Department of Public Works, and thank you for your service.
Thank you so much.
Commissioner Rodriguez.
Oh, my goodness. Well, colleagues, thank you all so much for your generous and kind words. And, you know, John and Linda and Ed, just everybody. You being here on such short notice, thought I would kind of slip out quietly. It is bittersweet, but it's also very exciting about the future. You know, I joined the Board of Public Works 3 years ago and got to sit alongside 4 brand new colleagues that we had never really known each other before. You know, Matt Szabo and I did know each other. We crossed paths when we worked for Mayor Reardon, but otherwise we were just 5 new souls all put together and assembled here to try and help make sure that we could help bring this department together and help address the needs of a community that I think we're all very passionate about. And I'm so, you know, when I got that call from Mayor Garcetti asking me to serve, it was incredibly humbling. And I remember breaking down with my family because you worked so hard for so many years trying to make a difference. And someone saw something in you to give you that opportunity. And I'm always very grateful for that. And I honored that every day that I came into the office because of a community that supported me throughout my whole life. You talk about a village. You know, I wasn't supposed to go to college. I was told by my college counselor, don't bother applying to Occidental College, you won't get in. And I did it anyways. I've never really been a good listener. Much of my life and my career has been one of challenging the way things are and trying to make it different and trying to make it better and trying to make opportunities more accessible to everyone else that didn't maybe have the good graces to have a family like I did. And so it was a great privilege to have this position every day and to use that as an opportunity to make City Hall more accessible to people throughout the city, to help make good fiscal decisions to ensure that we could provide even more services for the people of this city and try to help do my part to make sure that we could innovate and do things a little bit differently so that we could avail even more than what people were anticipating we could ever provide. And so I'm just incredibly thankful for the opportunity to be able to serve in this capacity. I've worked with some incredibly talented, bright people, and you know, people that even sometimes wanted to give up in the way that we didn't think we would actually make a difference on helping to push more opportunities for small businesses and women businesses. You know, we were able to overcome because we were tenacious, we were relentless, and that's what the leadership needs in this city. And so I was happy to be in a position to do that and helping to work collectively and collaboratively with so many colleagues to help us get there. You know, we can't do any of this alone, but we all have to be willing to do something a little bit different These are very different times. This is a very different city. We have very different leadership, and I think we're all reflective of that. And so I want to thank each of you for the wisdom that you've shared, for helping me grow in this role. I'm very proud of all that I've accomplished, but I say that because, every day I just really wanted to honor my family. I come from a family of public servants, and so for me it was just very important to honor all of that. It was one generation ago my family was coming from Mexico. And so to honor their struggle, to provide for my family, to help give me this opportunity is still awe-inspiring to me. And I owe it to them every single day to do the very best that I can in service to the rest of the people of Los Angeles. And so I thank you for your generous and kind words. I want to thank all my colleagues from all the variety of bureaus for their incredible support and friendship and kindness and working with me to help do all the things that we know we need to do for this city. So I thank you all so very much.
Thank you. So we will, Ed and John will, thank you all. We'll take one moment from the agenda for a photograph, then we'll come right back on the agenda. So a moment of recess. Okay, thank you, everyone. Returning to our agenda item number 11. Council Districts 9 and 14 requested contract award, Department of Transportation, Bureau of Engineering, and Bureau of Contract Administration on the MyFig project, Figueroa Corridor Streetscape Improvements, 11th Street and Figueroa Street. Recommending that the board, first, declare Griffith Company apparent second low bidder to be the lowest responsible bidder after the local business preference percentage is applied, and award them a contract for the project for $11,994,000, and two, authorize the president or two members of the Board of Public Works to execute the contract after approval as to form has been obtained by the city attorney. On number 11, speaker card, this one says Red Chief. That's what's identified on the card. Second one says Dummy. Mr. Spindler's been turning in cards that say Dummy. Mr. Spindler on number 11. Mr. Spindler on number 11. The card says Dummy. Okay. On number 11, Mr. Carlson from All American Asphalt. I know you spoke for a few minutes on general public comment on Monday. Let's start with Adam Driscoll to summarize the project and the recommendation of the Bureau. And then Mr. Carlson, as we have your protest letter as well, then we'll hear from you, and we may have some questions along the way.
Good morning.
Go ahead, sir.
My name is Adam Driscoll. I'm an engineer with the Department of Transportation. And we're here asking you guys to approve this board report to award the contract for the My Figueroa Streetscape Improvement Project to Griffith Company in the amount of $11,994,000. As many of you may be aware, this My Fig project is one of the cornerstones of LADOT's Vision Zero initiative. This project specifically involves infrastructure improvements on Figueroa between MLK and 7th and on 11th Street between Figueroa and Main Street. And these infrastructure improvements will improve and enhance the mobility and safety for all different modes of transportation. So it'll be improved for bicyclists, pedestrians, transit users, bus users. Specifically, this project includes implementation of protected and buffered bike lanes, bus pads, new bus stops and bus furniture, full traffic signal upgrades and re-signalization to optimize it for all the different types of traffic, and general landscaping and sidewalk improvements and wayfinding signage, just general stuff to improve and enhance the experience and safety for all different modes of transportation. This contract is subject to the project labor agreement. And if I gave you guys a little handout to get a general idea of what the improvements are going to look like. You can also just go look at Los Angeles Street, what we recently did there. That's sort of the general idea of what we're going to be doing on a much larger scale for this project. And I wanted to mention this project is 100% state funded through Prop 1C. So if anyone has any questions, or that's what I have to say.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Driscoll. Do you have a question for, I'm sorry, Commissioner Davis?
Just some basic questions. In terms of the area, you said Figueroa to the west and Main to the east. Is that pretty accurate?
It's Figueroa from MLK to the south to 7th Street
MLK.
to the north. Yeah.
Okay.
There's a second, you'll see in the next agenda item is another My Figueroa project on Martin Luther King. That's a separate project.
I see.
But so this project on this board report goes from MLK up to 7th Street in downtown. So past USC, past Staples Center.
Oh, okay.
And then there's another corridor on 11th Street, just off Figueroa to Main Street.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Number 12 is related.
Yes.
Mr. Driscoll, anything you want to add on number 12? I'll call it separately, but while we're all here, anything you want to add? And recognize that there are different parties involved, although we have one common denominator on number 12 regarding the contracting parties. But go ahead.
Originally, this was 3 different projects. There was one on Figueroa, one on MLK, and one on 7th Street. They were just separated in case something held one back. We wanted to be able to move forward with the other ones. At some point, the 11th Street and Figueroa projects got consolidated into one, and the MLK project still ended up on its own. And that project specifically doesn't have a lot of traffic work, so it's not going to be as much, there's not a lot of traffic signal work or signal improvements, so DOT won't be building that one. We're just managing this aspect of it, but the Bureau of Engineering will be building it. And that one's only about $600,000, so it's a much smaller project than this one.
Any further questions for Mr. Driscoll before we go to the issues presented by Mr. Carlson? Thank you, sir. Edward Carlson, I'm sorry, your card says?
Ed Carlson.
Yes. Sir, as a bidder and a protester, I'm not going to put the 2-minute time limit on you that exists on general public comment. But one thing I ask parties when they present to us, just keep everyone's time in mind. And if you start to repeat yourself, that's when I'll step in.
Thank you very much.
Go ahead, sir.
Again, my name is Ed Carlson. I'm the Vice President of All American Asphalt. Reason why I'm here is in the past few months we've been apparent low on 4 bids for the City of Los Angeles, and 2 of them are in question today. On July 27th, I received a letter stating that, yes, you were low bidder, but for the LBE or LBP, that took you out, and you ended up in second place, and we're going to award the contract to two other contractors. I have some questions to take a look at it, and if I could. One of them is, while the board's report didn't say anything about the funding source, according to the paper, it's partially funded by Proposition 1C, which is a state grant. And according to the ordinance, the LBE should not apply in that situation. And I'd just like to know if that would be true. If it is a state grant, how does that come into effect? Secondly, according to the ordinance, the LBE preference is to be used when the awarding department believes it is in the best interest of the city, and not when it is in the best interest of the when it's not in the best interest of the city. We'd like to know what criteria is used in determining in the determination, is made, and why it wasn't explained in the report seeking the award to the contract. And to me, it's unclear how we saved the city $200,000 in the bid, how you could probably use that on the police or your fire personnels. The third one I have is, I'm kind of concerned on how the preference may be used in the future. While the ordinance say that it's...
Just be careful to stay away from items that are not on the agenda, is the only thing I would admonish you. So if you talk about future projects that are not on the agenda, that's not something that we can consider.
Okay, I just wanted to talk about the city project because it pertains to item number 12, where it was just a concrete project.
You can talk about number 12 if you would like. That is on the agenda today.
Oh, okay, I thought I was going to be talking, because to me they go together, 11,
Yes,
12.
so go ahead, sir.
That's the only reason, because on item...
Your letter references a program that's not on the agenda today. That's why I stepped in, but go ahead.
Okay, because you have a $1.3 billion concrete coming up.
That's the program that's not on the agenda today, but go ahead.
Okay, and my concern is the way it's going to be broken up, how it's going to be awarded if you have either a $1.3 billion contract going out, or if you're going to be spreading it out to like 5, 6, 10 millions based on this program. What I'm looking at, theoretically, you could pay an extra $80 million for the job, the way it's broken down into this program. So.
That's in your letter, sir, and that's the sidewalk repair program, which is not on the agenda. If you,
okay.
I will give you the time that you'd like to talk about the project number 11, but not the other programs.
Okay. No, I'm fine. I'm fine with that. I just... we are the low bidders, and by a substantial amount. We have saved the city tens of millions of dollars over the years without any problems. We have an office in LA County, including a plant we operate for the city on city property. Just some of the things I have is, I feel that we should be awarded the contract as the low bidder on both jobs. We ask that we be supplied with the criteria by the Department of Public Works for determining whether or not applying this rule is in the best interest of the city, to know whether or not the same criteria is being used by other departments. And we'd like to talk to someone from contract administration to see what we need to do to have our office in LA certified as a LBE. If Vulcan Materials, which is headquarters out of Birmingham, Alabama, is considered as an LBE, then if we create a subsidiary, will we be treated as an LBE?
Okay.
And that's all I have.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Ms. McGlinchey or Mr. Reamer, or I'm assuming you're going to take the issues related to those raised, and I'm not going to go to Mr. Driscoll from DOT on those contract issues. So first of all, and my colleagues may have questions as well, but just on the ones that were put on the table by Mr. Carlson. On the funding question, the application of the local business ordinance on the funding issue that was raised, what would be your response to that from the Bureau?
Okay, John Reamer, Bureau of Contract Administration with Linda McGlinchey. Linda has answers to the three questions that were raised, so I'm going to let her give those answers. And there any subsequent questions, I'll be sitting right here.
Okay, thank you, John. Ms. McGlinchey?
Thank you. The ordinance states that it's to be applied on funds that are within the city's discretion, and that is so that we do not forego any federal, state funding that would prohibit the application of a local business preference. So in this case, DOT would have to confirm it, but the grant, I believe, does not prohibit the application, therefore it was applied.
Okay. Commissioner Repenning?
Where is AAA based, All-American? Where are they based?
They have several locations. There's one in LA County, but they have several: Orange County, Irvine, Westminster. There's Corona, I believe, maybe where they're headquartered, not sure. They did submit an affidavit on the 28th of July. We requested documentation to prove that they are a local business. We have not heard back from them.
And where is Griffith and PPC based?
I'm sorry, I do not recall, but they were vetted, and that's how they received their local business preference.
Do we have any representatives from Griffith that are here? Okay. They do have the certification, though. Correct, Ms. McGlinchey?
Bureau of Engineering would have informed them of this hearing.
Right, but they have the certification, the local business.
Yes.
Yes, okay. Commissioner Penning?
Well, this is more pertains to item number 12.
Okay. We'll
Commissioner,
I would hold.
I believe the executive officer has the bid of Griffith.
With the information? Yes, Mr. Campos.
Yes, Commissioner Repenning, to answer your question, they're in Santa Fe Springs, California, off of Bloomfield Avenue.
Okay, so in the county but not in the city. Okay.
Right.
Correct.
And Commissioner Davis? I can't see your light.
No, I think you answered my question in terms of the eligibility of All-American. They are in Los Angeles County, correct?
Well, they have a location in LA County. We have no way of saying whether or not they're eligible at this point in terms of LBE. As I said, we requested information from them. They have not supplied us any.
What is the criteria in terms of evaluating whether or not someone is eligible? Is it that, in fact, if you are a resident of LA County as opposed to being specifically located in the city, that therefore you still are equally eligible in terms of being in that status?
One of the criteria is that you occupy workspace within LA County, but there are additional criteria as well.
Gotcha. Okay. And you did establish that even though we did have a state grant, that state grants do allow the application of the LBE in this case.
DOT staff would need to confirm, but it's our understanding that this grant does not prohibit it.
It does not
Prohibit the application of the local business preference.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis. I would like to, I don't want to separate the agenda items number 11 and 12 in a futile way to be able to get the project most efficiently and effectively and productively done. The agenda item number 11 is subject to a project labor agreement, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And then I want to get to, I'm going to let Commissioner Repenning make her point on agenda item number 12 because I think it relates. If you look at the MBE numbers, when you, well, Commissioner Repenning, go ahead. I want to, since the projects are related as Mr. Driscoll presented, I want to open up agenda item number 12 related to this point. Commissioner Repenning?
I wanted to just point out for my colleagues the fact that, while that the AAA bid on item 12 does include a more diverse portfolio of some subcontractors. And that as we look at what makes the most kind of community impact in terms of how we're spending money, that would be something to consider. I did have a question, and I think this might be better directed at the representative from transportation, as to whether there is any operational advantage to working with the same contractor on both projects.
Mr. Driscoll?
Sorry, could you say that one more time?
Is there an advantage to working with the same contractor on both projects?
11 and 12.
And I'm just thinking of.
Yes.
That
But
would
not
be
in the,
my-
I mean, not in such a way that I would go around the rules of contract
Sure, I
administration
mean, they're
or
separate.
awarding a contract.
Yeah, that's up to us.
Yeah. Okay.
But
I
the
apologize.
question for you was whether or not it's more efficient or effective to use the same contractor on agenda items 11 and 12 if possible.
I think that's a subjective question
Yeah.
because to some degree it is, maybe operationally,
Yeah,
but then we have other
Yeah.
values in the department that include
Thank you, Mr.
diversity.
Driscoll. We're not going to push you on that. I think we got the answer. There's one point I want to make regarding Mr. Reamer, can I have you for one moment? One point I'd like to make regarding the project labor agreement on this, on agenda item number 11. Is it fair for me to assume that with the existence of the PLA on number 11, that local hire numbers are already built in?
That's a fair assumption.
So the reason I put that on the table is that my gut on this tells me that by going with All-American Asphalt, it's the lower bid, so it's $180,000. I think the gentleman said $200,000. I think it's about $180,000 less. We get a more diverse pool of subcontractors when we put the two together, and we're not jeopardizing the local hire preference because, and I recognize that there is in the county as they are, but even though they're not registered, but the PLA could potentially cover that, which is a concern of the council in implementing the ordinance to begin with. So anything you heard that I just said, Mr. Reamer, that is of concern or that you would disagree with?
No, I didn't hear anything that concerned me.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Any other questions on this? So, Mr. Campos, I'm going to make a motion. I know we have speakers on number 12, but I'm going to make a motion on number 11, recognizing that I'm inclined to make the same motion on number 12. On agenda item number 11, I would make a motion that the recommendation would be to not apply the local business preference percentage, which we have the discretion to do, as has been recommended, and to declare, I want to get the All-American Asphalt, which was the low bidder, when you don't apply the local business preference, as the lowest responsible bidder, and award them a contract in the amount of $11,806,000 on agenda item number 11. Seconded by Commissioner Rodriguez. Mr. Campos, and Mr. Jordan, am I solid in my motion?
That would be, the report would be adopted as amended with your recommendation not to apply the LBP and then to declare All-American Asphalt the apparent low bidder, not applying the LBE. That is correct.
Okay.
Very clear.
Seconded by Commissioner Rodriguez. Any other questions before we take a vote on this? I want to make sure Commissioner Davis is... Do you have a question, Commissioner Davis?
So that, in fact, this motion does give us the contractor who is the lesser costing contractor of the two.
It does. And when you look at agenda item number 12, at the diversity numbers, you get a larger inclusion process when you compare the two. And the LBP intent, I believe, is met by the PLA.
And also, the board has the authority to either implement the LBP or not.
Correct. And we've stated the reasons, therefore. Mr. Jordan.
Yes. So I have the ordinance actually in front of me. So to be clear, the board is making the determination that the motion seeks to make the determination that it is in the city's best interest to waive
Yes.
the application for the reasons that you
For the
stated.
reasons that I laid out. I believe it is in the city's best interest for those reasons. That would be my motion. Seconded by Commissioner Rodriguez. Any objection? Without objection, that will be the order. Any issue sending agenda item number 11 forthwith? We'll send number 11 forthwith. Let me call agenda item number 12 because we have a speaker card on it. Agenda item number 12, DOT, Department of Transportation, Bureau of Engineering, Bureau of Contract Administration, Council District 9, Contract Award, Figueroa Corridor Project, Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, recommending that the board waive the informality of the bid proposals of All American Asphalt, the apparent first low bidder, and PPC Construction Incorporated, the apparent second lowest bidder, as discussed that was in the board report, and declare PPC the apparent second lowest bidder to be the lowest responsible bidder after the local business preference is applied, and award them a contract for the project for $589,914, and authorize the president or two members of the Board of Public Works to execute the contract after approval as to form has been obtained by the city attorney. Mr. Driscoll, anything to add on number 12 that you haven't mentioned yet?
I just wanted to reiterate one thing. DOT is going to be managing the construction of the MyFig on agenda item 11, but the Bureau of Engineering will be managing the construction of agenda item 12.
Right.
So I just
Yes,
wanted
we're clear on that.
That's all. Okay.
Okay,
sorry.
thank you,
That's
sir.
all I
I
have.
appreciate it. The record's clear on that. Mr. Carlson, anything on number 12 to add from what you've already said? I think you know where we're going on this. Okay. So, Ms. McGlinchey. So All American Asphalt was the actual low bid if we don't apply the local business preference. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. Then my motion would be, does anybody else have any questions on an agenda?
Could you just
And just a minute, I'm sorry, Commissioner Davis. I have a speaker card on number 12. Dummy, Mr. Dummy, which is Mr. Spindler, he puts in cards with the name Dummy. And a card with the name Red Chief. Card with the name Red Chief on number 12. Okay, they waived their time. Commissioner Davis.
We talked about the financial wherewithal of both of these contracts, with AAA being the lower bid, financially, correct?
Correct.
Then the other issue for us probably has to include where we are with regard to the diversity. Can you briefly share with me in terms of the inclusion, I guess, of minority businesses, small businesses, et cetera, the comparative analysis briefly in those two?
Well, for agenda item number 12,
Yes, ma'am.
the All-American had 4 subcontractors that consisted of minority, small, and emerging business and other business enterprises. PPC, although they simply had 2 SBE and 1 OBE subcontractor, PPC themselves are a small, emerging, and local business.
And so they had small business. They are, in fact, an emergent business themselves.
Correct.
And in terms of additional MBE or WBE?
They do not have that representation on this particular contract.
And then in terms of the SBE, they are pretty much even on that?
Actually, in terms of what's shown in the board report is the pledged SBE, and that is as it pertains to the subcontractors. If you were to account for the work being performed by PC as an SBE, then their SBE would be much higher.
Okay. And then if we analyze where they are in terms of MBE, because AAA has an MBE, how would you assess MBE as it applies to PPC?
Well, PPC did not list any MBE, WBE, EBE, DVBE subcontractors. So on this particular project, they have zero participation as far as that goes.
And then on the, they have zero participation, and then AAA has?
AAA has 2 subcontractors that are MBE certified.
Is that, how much percentage is that?
14.
Yeah, it's, sorry, it is 12.59%.
Okay.
Oh, we're correct, yeah. Yeah, I was looking at 3.04. It's 12%.
And then in terms of emergent businesses, obviously you've stated that PPC is emergent in themselves, so they can't get credit for that. Correct?
They could have claimed credit for it if they'd listed themselves for the work they're performing, but they didn't. However, we know that the contract requires them to perform at least 50% of the work.
Sure. And then AAA has some effort for EBEs as well, correct?
AAA, yes, less than 4%.
So it would be safe to say that in terms of the contribution for inclusion in the diverse variables that we require, that AAA has been dynamic as compared to PPC in terms of what they have included, absent, of course, that the PPC did not state themselves in those categories.
If you're looking at breadth versus simply overall participation as a percentage of the contract, yes.
Okay. And in breadth including themselves, then of course, because of their status, if they had included themselves in, the reality is in fact that they would have certainly had much more depth in terms of emergent and small business participation.
Well, as in terms of as a department and what we will claim in participation, PPC actually offers us more because they are a local, small, and emerging business. We will claim credit for that even if they didn't.
So then, while they do charge us more, in terms of diversity and inclusion, they do give us slightly more.
In terms of the percentage of the entire contract going to small and emerging businesses, absolutely.
And what about minority businesses, but not so in minority businesses, though?
No.
So I'm more interested comprehensively, not on their achievement in one area. I'm concerned about their measurement in all areas as it relates to diversity that we have listed in our board report. So I do understand and can appreciate how they have achieved in small business, but not without understanding and embracing where they are in minority business enterprises equally. So I'm just trying to put my hand around where we really are with that, as well as the cost. I mean, I think at the end of the day, for me, Mr. President, the cost is also important as well in terms of how much the city will spend on this particular contract as well. So in terms of the numbers that we see, AAA hasn't done that terribly bad or worse than PPC, coupled with the fact that the cost, I think, for the city is much cheaper for us with AAA in this case. Would you assess that to be the circumstance here?
I don't know that I could make that assessment, especially since there's about a $25,000 difference between the two bids.
Well, who would be the person that could give me some opinion on that?
Just look at the bids.
Okay.
So just for the record, Fernando Campos, Executive Officer, the All-American Asphalt bid came in at $564,033.70, where PPC Construction Incorporated's bid was, or is, $589,914.
So then that's what I was just trying to get confirmed.
Yeah. So it's cheaper, there's more diversity on it, and the PLA applies to agenda item number 11.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Any further questions? I'll make a motion that we adopt. I need to make the motion again because it's going to be as amended. Yeah. So, agenda item number 12, that we do waive the informality of the bid proposals of All American Asphalt, the first low bidder, and PPC Construction, the second low bidder, as discussed in the report. So we satisfy recommendation number 1. However, we do not apply the local business percentage because, for the reasons stated in the discussion, and the reasons stated in the discussion surrounding agenda item number 11, we determine that that it is in the city's best interest to save the money, have a more diverse subcontracting pool, and we have the local business hire issue handled on the larger side of agenda item number 11. So we do make the determination that it is in the city's best interest. So that would be my motion, which amends the board report. Is there a second by Commissioner Rodriguez? Are you clear on that, Mr. Campos?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 12 as amended. Any issue sending number 12 as amended forthwith? We'll send number 12 as amended forthwith. All right. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it. Agenda item number 13. Bureau of Engineering and the Bureau of Street Services in Council District 14, recommending that the board approve the request to extend the existing temporary closure of First Street between Central Avenue and Alameda Street from 9 p.m. August 5th, 2016, that's a Friday, to 9 p.m. September 23rd, 2016, Friday. That's 7 weeks, subject to the conditions set forth in the report for a temporary closure of First Street from Central Avenue to Vigna Street, and Alameda Street from Temple Street to 2nd Street from 7 p.m. September 23rd, that's a Friday, 2016, Friday, to 5 a.m. September 26, 2016. That's a 58-hour closure, subject to the conditions set forth to facilitate the construction of pile installation, utility relocations, and roadway decking for the First and Central Station and the First Alameda Y in connection with the Metro Regional Connector Transit Corridor project. On number 13, Mr. Spindler on number 13, listed as dummy. Red Chief is a card that was put in on number 13. Curtis G. on number 13.
Good morning. I am Curtis G. from the Bureau of Engineering, Metro Transit Division. The Metro Regional Connector project is a 1.9-mile underground light rail transit system through downtown Los Angeles that will extend from the Gold Line Little Tokyo Station to the 7th Metro Center. On May 6, 2016, the Board of Public Works permitted the temporary closure of First Street between Central Avenue and Alameda Street from May 23rd to August 5th, 2016, and a 55-hour weekend closure of the intersection of First Street and Alameda from August 5th to August 8, 2016 for the construction work of the First and Central Station and Alameda Y. According to Metro, to avoid potential conflict with the annual Nisei Week festivals in August, the previous approved closure was permitted through the first weekend of August. Since the board's authorization on May 6, 2016, Metro has collaborated with the community and attained their support for continuing work through Nisei Week until September 26, 2016. Metro and their contractor, Regional Connectors Constructors, RCC, is requested to extend an existing temporary full street closure and add one 58-hour weekend closure. Construction activities include utility relocations, completion of installation of piles, and completion of installation of the precast concrete deck panels in preparation for opening up the streets to vehicles. The proposed construction will be completed under two stages of traffic control, stage A 2.0 and A 2.3. Stage A 2.3 beginning at 9 p.m. on Friday, August 5th, 2016, and ending at 9 p.m. on Friday, September 23rd, 2016, consists of a 7-week extension of the full street closure of First Street between Central Avenue and Alameda Street. Stage A 2.0 beginning 7 p.m. on Friday, September 23rd, 2016, and ending 5 a.m. on Monday, September 26th, 2016, consists of a 58-hour weekend closure of First Street from Central Avenue to Vigna Street and Alameda Street from Temple Street to 2nd Street. The proposed continuous full street closure will have greater impact to weekday peak hour traffic. However, the requested continuous closure would allow the work to be completed sooner. The full closure would assist the residents in the community by reducing the night work and construction noise at night, improve public and worker safety, maintain a consistent traffic control, and will allow work to be performed as quickly and efficiently as possible, thereby minimizing the overall impact to the community. Metro has stated that they have informed the community and stakeholders through briefings and meetings, construction notices, project website updates, Facebook and Twitter updates, radio advertisements, Waze notifications, and a project hotline. Metro indicated they will continue the community outreach in advance and through the life of the project. The traffic mitigation plan and the worksite traffic control plans have been approved by the LA Department of Transportation. Council District Number 14 has communicated that they support the extension request of the street closure. Metro has obtained a peak hour exemption for the closure period from the Bureau of Engineering. A nighttime variance permit was also granted from the Los Angeles Police Department. I therefore ask the board to approve forthwith the 7th week extension of the existing temporary street closure of First Street between Central Avenue and Alameda Street, and the 58-hour weekend closure of First Street between Central Avenue to Vigna Street and Alameda Street from Temple Street to 2nd Street for the weekend starting Friday, September 23rd, 2016. Metro, RCC, and LADOT representatives are here today to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Curtis. I just want to add for the record that Council District 14 supports the closure. Board report indicates it, but I'd just like to put that on the oral record. Commissioner Arcento.
Thank you, President James. Curtis, thanks for the report. This continues a very important segment of the Metro plan. I'm pleased to really see Metro's outreach efforts here as the correspondence from Olga Arroyo. So if Olga is in the boardroom today, I want to give a shout out to Metro for continuing to work with a very impacted community, Little Tokyo community, especially Nisei Week, which is really part of the fabric of downtown Los Angeles. And when we have this big project that has impact and we're able to work with the community, that's a sign that Metro is sensitive. So I appreciate their outreach, their continued outreach efforts. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Arcento. Anything further? Commissioner, is there a motion by Commissioner Rodriguez, seconded by Commissioner Davis, that we approve agenda item number 13? Any objection? Without objection, we'll approve agenda item number 13. Any issues sending 13 forthwith? We will send 13 forthwith. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 14. Office of Accounting and the Bureau of Street Services are requesting board approval and execution of an authority for expenditure in the amount of $200,000 to pay for the use of gas lines that provide the asphalt plants with natural gas for the operation of the Bureau's 2 asphalt plants, heater and dryer equipment. Mario, there you are over there. I didn't see you sitting in here. I saw your name, but you were hiding from me. Welcome, sir.
Hi, good morning. My name is Mario Interiano with the Bureau of Street Services. As the item on the agenda states, the Bureau of Street Service is requesting approval and execution of $200,000 encumbrance to pay for gas supply for our
I'm
asphalt
sorry,
plants.
Mario, before you continue, I did have a speaker cards on these. Mr. Spindler put in a card identifying himself as dummy, Mr. Spindler. And Red Chief put in a card, whoever that is. Nobody? Go ahead, sir. Thank you.
Yes. As mentioned, we're asking for $200,000 encumbrance to be able to pay for the supply of gas for asphalt plants 1 and 2. Now, for last fiscal year, we spent approximately $500,000, and we're looking to spend about half as much this year because of the plant closure for asphalt plant 1.
Yeah. Understood. Any questions at all? Commissioner Rodriguez?
Yes, in relation, actually, I know it's not officially on this item, but Asphalt Plant 1, so it already has ceased operation to start construction, to start working towards construction, or is it still in operation?
I'm not sure if it's actually ceased as of yet. I know that we've been requested to shut off gas for October 14th.
Lance Owishi with the Bureau of Street Services, the asphalt plant is still operating at this time.
Still is operating. Yes. And when do we anticipate, I'm really sad that I won't be here for that groundbreaking, but when is that, I will show up no matter what, but.
So it depends on how you define the word here.
I'm inviting myself, but when do we anticipate?
I believe that the demolition permit was issued 2 weeks ago, and so we're currently trying to establish that startup date when they'll actually initiate the actual demolition. I believe it's going to be probably mid-September, somewhere around there.
Okay. I'll keep my calendar open. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Rodriguez. Anything further on agenda item number 14? I'll make a motion that we adopt agenda item number 14, seconded by Commissioner Rodriguez. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 14. Any issue sending it forthwith? We'll send it forthwith. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Agenda item number 15. The mayor has approved and authorized the board to exercise a 3-year extension of a memorandum of understanding between the City of Los Angeles and the Los Angeles Community College District for the continuation of the City of LA's Green Business Implementation Program. This is being returned by the mayor for execution. On agenda item number 15, Mr. Spindler put in a card with the name dummy on it. Mr. Spindler. And on number 15, whoever put in the red chief card, number 15. Colleagues, is there a second to my motion that we adopt agenda item number 15 forthwith by Commissioners Repenning and Davis? Any objection? Without objection, we will do so. Agenda item number 16. The mayor has approved and authorized the board to execute a memorandum of understanding between the City of Los Angeles and the Los Angeles County Flood Control District to be part of the Integrated Regional Water Management Planning and Implementation for the Greater Los Angeles County region. Again, being returned for execution. Mr. Spindler put in a card under the name dummy, Mr. Spindler. And the person who put in a card under red chief. Is there a second to my motion that we adopt agenda item number 16 forthwith by Commissioner Rodriguez? Any objection? Without objection, we will do so. Mr. Campos, have we cleared the desk?
Yes, you have.
Okay, then we are adjourned with a thank you to Vice President Monica Rodriguez and best wishes going forward. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.